Hi, what's up YouTube? Welcome back for another video. I didn't record yesterday because my sinuses were bothering real bad. So today, it's a damn recording. So we got ranking the best starting five from every era. Now, back in the day, probably like the 60s and 70s, I can't name anybody like the best starting five from back then. But I'm not gonna try to guess it. We're just gonna watch it together. So let's go.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in the video. This time we're going to rank the best starting five from each era, going from the 1960s
I'm quite sure they'll have
2010s. And for the starting five,
Golden State Warriors
I'm going to have
with
two guards,
Steph Curry
two forwards,
when they had KD on the team.
And I want to make this very clear, every era in NBA history has their strengths as well as their weaknesses, and there really is no worst era in NBA history because all eras are great and they're all unique.
There you
were.
were.
Today, there has to be a best.
Hey, Jordan.
Worst. And I do want to say for this video, we're looking at the stats and the accolades for MVPs.
Larry
I combined the
Bird.
finals as well as the regular season. And on the stats side, I only looked at playoff numbers, as those stats are far more important and far more telling of how great a player was.
Hey.
So with that being said, let's rank the best starting five from every era. So first up at number 6, we have the 1970s. In this decade, features point guard Walt Frazier, shooting guard Pete Maravich, small forward.
Oh, I see what he's doing now. He's putting, I guess, the best at each position in each era. Oh, okay, I got you now. I got you. So, probably for the 80s or 90s, you'll probably have Magic Johnson, probably Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. Power forward would probably be Karl Malone. Center, 80s or 90s, like Bill Russell or Kareem. I don't know.
Power forward Alvin Hayes and center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And we're looking at the starting five. This is a primarily offensive group. The two great defenders you have.
That was a clean pick right there.
Walt being a great perimeter defender and Kareem being locked down on the block as well as a great shot blocker. Now offensively, you have two of the best scorers of all time, that being Pete Maravich and Rick Barry, two guys who are definitely ahead of their time.
Pete Maravich.
Passes,
what? Who's that?
And of course you have Kareem, who's an automatic bucket,
oh yeah,
skyhook shot. Now we're looking at the starting five together. They won 5 championships, 5 MVPs. There were 37 All-Stars,
37 All-Stars,
37,000 points, 3,000 boards, and 1,000 assists. And we look at how those rank versus the other eras. They rank last in every single category, which is pretty unfortunate. But in the 1970s, you had 2 different leagues, the ABA as well as the NBA, which split a lot of the talent up and made this one of the weaker eras in NBA history. And like I said before, this lineup is pretty evenly balanced.
Kareem made a hook from anywhere on the court.
But if I'm ranking them versus the other eras,
see the release?
I rank the 1970 starting five at the number 6 spot. Now next up at number 5, we have the 1960s. And for this era at point guard, you have Oscar Robertson. At shooting guard, you have Jerry West. Small forward,
point guard, right?
Power forward, Bill Russell. And center, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right
front court, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
You have Oscar Robertson, a walking triple-double. Jerry West, an elite scorer in the playoffs. Elgin Baylor, the original high-flying forward. Bill Russell, one of the best defenders of all time. His shot blocking and his overall IQ. And of course, Wilt the Stilt, who was dominant on both ends and a physical force of nature for his time. And his starting five combined,
they just flick up any kind of shot.
9 MVPs, they were 47-time All-Stars, they scored over 12,000 points, had over 8,000 boards, and 2,400 assists. And we're looking at how they rank versus the other eras. They have some strong points.
First in the All-Star.
Of course, making
first in rebounds.
Games is a huge plus.
It's a lot of rebounds, of course, between Bill Russell and
Chamberlain is a big plus for this era.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Starting five. But I
there
think
was
the lack
a
of
beast on the
board.
board.
This era outside of Bill Russell when it comes to winning championships holds them back from being higher on my list. But still, the starting five is extremely talented on offense as well as defense. And when you have a backcourt of Jerry West and Oscar Robertson, you can't go wrong with
the big O.
Now, next up at number 4, we have the 2010s. And for
this
era,
is a crazy lineup.
We have Steph Curry, James Harden, LeBron James, Kevin Durant,
like the best scorers at each position
and for this specific
around those times.
The biggest point they have is the center position. And DeMarcus Cousins, almost by default, wins this spot as the best center from this era. And the obvious strong point for this group,
KD is kind of tough to put at power forward because he's mainly a slasher and a shooter. But I guess nowadays you can put anybody's around that height and that size at power forward or whatever. But he wasn't a big time rebounder though. But I guess it really don't matter nowadays. But it kind of does. But whatever.
His offensive dominance. You have Steph Curry, the most impactful offensive players of all time. James Harden, a lethal offensive force whose step back jumper
Ooh,
has
that step back
revolutionized the NBA
stupid
game.
though.
You have LeBron James, who at his peak was the best all-around player in the NBA. You have Kevin Durant, who you could argue is
And the
the
thing,
top scorer of all
LeBron is
time,
in his
given
what
the fact he's
19th
7 foot tall
season?
and can pull up
Season?
35
What?
feet.
What am I talking
And
about?
overall offensive talent is definitely not a problem for this group.
KD's pull up
I think
is
the weak
like
point for them is on the
stupid.
defensive end, as LeBron James is the only real dominant defender out of this group. But even that being said, accolades-wise, this starting five, they were 8-time champions, 12-time MVPs, 37-time All-Stars. They scored 14,000 points, had just under 4,000 boards, and just slightly over 3,000 assists. And you would think versus the other eras, they would rank higher,
Second in
but
points.
unfortunately they don't, finishing in the bottom half of the majority of these categories. But
A lot
I
of
do
big
wanna
time
note some
scores
highlights
on
of
that
this group with just under 15,000
that starting
points,
five.
which is amazing for a starting five in a 10-year period. So that's why I rank the 2010s at the number
Here comes
4
an
spot.
ad.
Getting to the halfway point, we have the 1990s. And the starting five, you have John Stockton, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, and Akeem Olajuwon. And this group right here has two top 10 players of all time, and a guy in John Stockton and Karl Malone who have great longevity. And at small forward, you have one of the best lockdown defenders of all time in Scottie Pippen. And obviously the two best players in this group
Yeah,
are
there's a
Jordan
crazy
and
lineup
King,
too.
top 10 players of all time, and outstanding two-way players. The weak points for this group come in John Stockton and Scottie Pippen. Stockton in his time had great longevity, but he was never really an elite playoff performer, one of the top tier players in the NBA. And we're looking at Scottie, obviously.
Yeah, he wasn't elite,
defender,
but like he was a
but I
great
think
passer and a great
historically,
lead on the.
he's last
Whoa.
of these five players. I think him not being a superstar is a little bit of a knock on the starting five. Also, Karl Malone was a big-time playoff choker, which in my eyes brings this group down compared to the rest.
He's a playoff
But if you want to look
choker,
at purely accolades,
which he
this
was. He never
90s
won the
five,
championship
he's a
with
14-time
the
champion,
Jazz.
15-time MVP, 38-time All-Stars, scored 15,000 points, had 5,000 boards, and just under 4,000 assists. So going off stats and accolades, they rank near the top. I think in overall team talent, Jordan and Akeem definitely carry this five, and Scottie and Stockton, all of the great players, they bring this group back to the
Ooh,
middle of the
Hakeem had
pack.
that shake.
Now move on to number two, we have the 2000s. The
Now
starting five,
this is a
Steve
crazy
Nash,
lineup too,
Kobe Bryant, LeBron James,
especially with
Tim
Kobe.
Duncan, and
You got
Shaq.
Steve Nash,
And for
Kobe,
this starting
LeBron,
five,
Tim
it is
Duncan, and
packed with
Shaq.
all-time
Wow.
great talent. You have four top 10 players of all time, and Steve Nash is probably in the top 35. And you could very well argue the starting five has three of the top five greatest players of all time.
Hey.
Kobe, LeBron, and Duncan, or Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq. And out of the entire list, I think if we had an actual real basketball team, this starting five would be most successful.
Damn, Steve Nash had the
Steve
ball on the
Nash, first of
string,
all,
boy.
He doesn't have to shoot the ball to be effective. You have Kobe, the elite scorer, the killer mentality. You have LeBron James, the do-it-all small forward, who can pass, score, and rebound. You have Tim Duncan, an unselfish teammate and a great leader. And you have Shaq, one of the most dominant players ever on the block.
You think the best power forward of all time? Is it Karl Malone? Is it Tim Duncan? Is it Charles Barkley? Who y'all think?
And the only weakness I see in the starting five is Steve Nash. He's a little undersized, and Shaq can't shoot.
He was
free throws.
6'3",
Besides
but
that, skill-wise and talent-wise,
saying how I am.
this starting five is up
Hey.
there, the best of all time. And if you want to look at accolades and accomplishments, they're 11-time
Damn,
champions,
40 All-Star.
13-time MVPs, 40-time All-Stars, they had 14,000 points, 5,000 boards, and 2,800 assists. And for all those categories, they're around the middle of the pack. But overall talent and skill, I think makes this starting five the second best starting five of all time. Now at the number one spot, I think it's no surprise.
Of course.
we have the
Of course.
1980s.
Come on. Of course it's number one. I should have known it was going to be number one. I had the power forward and centers wrong. Well, I had Kareem. I had Kareem at center though, but power forward I didn't think about Kevin McHale. I forgot about McHale.
And the starting five is absolutely loaded. You have
Damn,
Joe
this
Johnson,
is a
greatest point guard
crazy
of all
lineup.
time. Michael Jordan, greatest player of all time. Larry Bird, a top 2 small forward, a top 10 player. Kevin McHale, one of the best post-up players of all time. And Kareem,
Kevin
a
McHale
top
is
3
underrated.
top 5 player
I swear
ever.
he is.
And we're looking at this starting five offensively. They are by far the most dominant team when it comes to that aspect. As
Yeah.
you have Magic running the show, Jordan flying in from the wings, Bird shooting threes, and McHale and Kareem dominating on the blocks on either side.
Bird did more to shoot
I think
threes,
the overall
man. Come
talent
on.
this team has, they have very few weak points.
In case you guys didn't know, Bird did more than shoot threes. He played tough defense. He hustled on the floor for loose balls. He did what he could to help the team win. Whether it's scoring, whether it's passing, whether it's getting in the other team's head, just messing with them and making them mess up, it don't matter.
If they did have one,
So he did more than
it's on the
shooting.
defensive end. But offensively, they have virtually everything, and they have the greatest point guard of all time leading the show.
That's crazy.
And if you look at their overall accolades,
17
they have
NBA
championships,
champions.
the most on this list. 14 MVPs, the second most. They have 38 All-Star
The
appearances,
assists, of
third
course,
most. They have the
because
fourth most
mainly
points,
because
second most
of
boards, and ranked first in
Magic
assists.
Johnson. But I think Bird
So
averaged more
virtually every
assists than
category, from the
Jordan
top
did in his
overall
career, I
talent and
think.
skill, combined with the accolades, I think the age
I
25
think Bird
is the best starting
maybe
five
averaged
out of
about
any
7.
era.
I think
So that right there is my
Jordan
list of
averaged
best
about
starting fives of
5
every
or
era,
6
ranked from
or something like
worst
that.
to best. And if you need a refresher, it goes 1970s, 1960s, the 2010s,
the
the
in and out.
90s, the 2000s, and the 1980s. Now with that being said, that's the end of the video. And as always, let me know your guys' thoughts. Which era do you think is the best? Which do you think is the worst? And what is your order for the best starting five of every era? Let me know your guys'
I would
thoughts.
probably
As
say the
always,
80s.
Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, I'll see you guys next time.
And I did sub to this channel, so check out Uncut Hoops. I think this is where I got this video from. I got to check out some more videos on this channel. But yeah, I think the 80s probably the best, had the best on lineup. But whoa, guys, let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it in the comments down below. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss about this. But that's a pretty good video. That's a real good video. So shout out to Uncut Hoop, and yeah. Peace.